I'm not going to do that every time I go, hello, everyone, welcome. I'm just going to get
For
my
the
hands
stars and
to my
stripes
side. There we go. No, but now I'm like holding the laptop. No, okay, I'm just going to, okay. Hello, everyone, welcome. I put
whatever.
far too much emphasis on that. Okay, cool. Hello, everyone, welcome back to another podcast. Today, episode 9, the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm Matt.
I'm Jess.
I was not expecting that. I'm Ali. I was about to say Aarav.
I'm Tommy.
Okay, brilliant. So we don't know who we are.
No.
As you're not Jess.
I'm not
you're
Jess, but Jess was here before the previous
She was.
podcast. So
And then
I'm
Hamilton
Aarav.
retired.
Yeah.
You're Aarav.
I am actually Aarav.
So Aarav, what for people that don't know who you are, which I'm sure many people do, what are you? Who
I'm
are
a
you?
Formula One YouTuber, I guess they call it. Do
Back
Formula
from-
One gaming back in the day with Matt, actually. So yeah, it's
OG.
good to be on here.
OG. Thanks for coming, Aarav. I
Yeah.
really do
Good to be on
appreciate
it.
it. I appreciate it so much. I want you to start with a 3-word race review of the Austrian Grand Prix. And I did say before filming, think of 3 words. What are they?
Mercedes Blowgate.
Blowgate. Blowgate.
Yeah.
Please expand.
Many things blew up for Mercedes, so I feel like it was a bit of a controversial one, especially for the way I guess Hamilton was reacting to it. And I think a lot of the Mercedes fans, as they always usually do, react quite badly to those kind of things. So I think it's a gate type thing.
Bet the Mercedes Twitter account was fun.
Yeah, that guy has the best job ever.
I couldn't believe how the fans reacted to that. They were just hating at Mercedes on Twitter for no reason. They're like,
it's
I'm
just
such a
Twitter, isn't
hardcore fan, but what you did today was inexcusable. It's like, well, you're not a hardcore fan. are you?
Hamilton's won 4 titles in the last 4 years, and then one mistake. Like Mercedes have won 4 titles in the last 4 years, and then one mistake, and it's like, oh my god, Hamilton needs to leave Mercedes immediately, and like, come on.
Calm down, people, please.
They're allowed to make mistakes, although they have probably made quite a few mistakes this year in comparison to other years. Like they seem a little bit more vulnerable to not reacting as quickly. When they're out in front, there was that whole, maybe they were staying out. Well, if they'd come in, everyone else would have stayed out. But that's irrelevant, I think, purely because they would still have had to have pit at some point, even if Hamilton had pit and everyone
I think
stayed out.
they get scared when they don't have both cars up there. As soon as Bottas was out, I think you could already kind of tell that there was going to be something that went wrong for them, because they always get very nervous when they don't have that rear gunner to help them react.
That's fair enough.
What was your 3-word highlight review, Ali?
I haven't actually watched the highlights yet. No, I managed to watch.
What have you watched then?
managed-
Why are you on this podcast?
It's the Austrian Grand Prix review podcast where we're not going to watch the Grand
I haven't
Prix.
watched the highlights. I don't even know what happened.
I managed to watch 10 laps before I had to drive up to London to film IBR.
I was on a train for the Grand Prix, and even I managed to watch the entire race before coming here.
I've watched 10 laps.
So
What's your 10 lap 3-word race review?
Thanks, 10 laps.
I was right.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
settle
Technically.
down.
Oh, everyone was
Technically,
like,
you
"Oh,
were.
Red Bull was never going to win around Red Bull wing." They won. Verstappen won, and I called.
And who did you say was going to win?
Ricardo.
When did he finish? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Last.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, to be fair, you did. I mean, you were right. I don't really care because you didn't watch the race, so therefore it's nullified. Tommy.
Whatever.
Gotta love strategy. There you go.
You said that very, very precise.
Yeah.
Why do you love strategy, Tommy?
Because I think the problem when we had that little lull of dull races, they can't all be great, obviously. It was the whole everyone getting annoyed that it was Pirelli one stops and all that kind of stuff. But sorry, there's a massive alarm going off.
Yeah.
The Pirelli one stops, but that race, as soon as it happened in China, Baku as well. As soon as like a virtual safety car, and people go off strategy, it just livens up the race immediately. And having different drivers on different strategies makes it amazing.
Nice. Mine. Hamilton should retire. No, okay. I'm not going to set another explosion off in the comments. Yeah, cheeky. Sassy Hamilton. He was sassy, okay?
was.
That was something that was a
Yeah.
lasting effect, was that he was just going ham at his team. You know, he's always like in
If you're pardon the
interviews.
pun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ham
I kind of felt like I said that, but I didn't want to like make a
Yeah.
big deal of it.
I got it.
But Hamilton, after post-race interviews, is always like, "Yeah, I support the team." Blah 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 blah. But then when he's talking to the team, you just like he has no respect. Like he just full on just goes ham. every time something goes wrong. He's really hard on the team, and obviously he is a 4-time Formula One world champion, and Alonso does it. But at the same time, it was just so negative. Like, okay, they made a mistake, make up for it.
Yeah.
And his poor teammate had already retired at that point, and you were just thinking, like, your poor teammate's been shafted out of how many really good chances this year through reliability. He had the problem in Baku that Hamilton benefited from, and Hamilton's there like, oh, I'm only going to be 1 point behind Vettel in the championship, whereas Bottas is now 6th in the title, and arguably could be up there if he'd had better luck. So.
Yeah, it seems like this season is very much a shoulda, woulda, coulda sort of thing. Like, Bottas could be winning the title, Verstappen could be leading the title. Like, this season is absolutely crazy, but I am enjoying it. So let's move on to a few 3-word race reviews from our fans. Skitty Pit, an amazing race. Dua_Boaland, very good race. Okay, let's move on to some more topic specific. So I think the main talking point was Mercedes double DNF, which obviously, Ali, you saw in your 10 laps of the first part of the race.
I saw Bottas not finish.
Did you? Okay, cool. Big shock. It was a massive shock, wasn't it? Some of the race review fan things, 3 words. Vettel Alonso team, Mercedes worst nightmare. Kazgapar, get wrecked Merc. Fubk 71306, Mercedes massive disaster, and Sachin0_T, Mercs are unreliable. I think that's a bit of a stretch
for one race.
Yeah, they were bad on one race.
I mean, since 1955, they haven't had a double DNF technical retirement. Like, chill. Okay, it's been like what,
Hamilton's first retirement since Malaysia, I think, wasn't it? 2016. So
so
long
33 points.
33 races, isn't it? Yeah, which is
Verstappen's race number.
Ooh. That's actually, that's a good point. Wow. that's
Illuminati.
That's mind blowing. Yeah, that's mind blowing.
Max fanboy over there.
That's crazy.
F1 conspiracies.
But it was a big shock, wasn't it? I mean, Mercedes, Hamilton looked chill out in front. He was balling. Then it all went wrong for them. But it was more the DNF side of things that was the real shocker, when it seemed like Austria was just destroying all the cars out there, but Mercedes in particular was crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable that they'd have a double DNF. And the thing is, they seem to just drop the ball with everything. They had the double DNF, they messed up the strategy. Hamilton pitted after everyone and still was destroying his tyres. They just had an absolutely terrible weekend. I think everyone thought they were just going to stroll off into the distance when Bottas got back past.
Well, I think after like 10 laps, the 10 laps that you saw, I think most people were kind of ready for the race to end, like, I'm going to fall asleep now, and then that happened.
Did they have the same issue? Because Bottas had a gearbox issue, right?
He had a gearbox and Hamilton had fuel pressure.
Right.
So it was 2 different issues, but which is even worse probably. If there was like one issue, they'd be like,
definitely.
Sure.
But I love the Bottas team radio that you could hear the in the background. It was so funny.
He's just trying to find a gear, couldn't get into it.
Poor Bottas. I do feel for him. I really do. This one's quite funny. At Maxi Hyro, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sad is Jess? Well, she's not here today. She's off.
She's mourning. She's mourning.
That's why she
had to leave.
She's actually on holiday for any people wondering.
She had to take a 2-week holiday because she was that sad.
Mentally recover.
She booked it in advance, knowing that Hamilton would retire.
Something would go wrong.
But she'll survive. She'll survive, I'm sure. She'll be back to say her piece on the Mercedes, I'm sure. But yeah, also the Mercedes was messing up the strategy. So Angry Cockatoo came in with, this is a person, not an actual angry cockatoo.
Damn it.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, actually. Are Mercedes' mistakes this weekend due to the pressure of Ferrari and Red Bull hot on their tail, or was this something more internal? It seemed to me that once Vettel overtook him, Hamilton pushed his car and tyres too hard. I think that's a load of honk, personally.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Mercedes are still quite happy.
I don't think it's about pushing, or it's not. I don't think Hamilton was pushing out in front.
No, I think they got very surprised by the track temperature being so much hotter than they expected. So I think they just cooked their tyres. Ricardo v Verstappen showed that in the same car, Verstappen was able to do a mature drive, take those tyres all the way, whereas Ricardo had to pit so early for super soft. So,
and it was cool as well to see the visual effect of it as well.
Yeah.
A lot of, see blistering, you're like, oh, but you could literally see a dark ring around on some of the tyres, couldn't you? So you couldn't be like, oh, Ricardo's chatting.
Is that kind of is that race that we were all calling for after? Was it Barcelona where they bought those Mercedes friendly tyres, and they took them there, and Mercedes walked it and were like, what happened to these sort of blistering tyres that we were meant to be getting this year, and people are having to do 2 or 3 stops is what we were told. And it was nice to see actual people having to do tyre wear, not to the point where people were just cruising around, but actually it really mixed things up, and it kept evolving the race and changing who was out in front and who was fastest, that kind of thing.
I think that was the key point, was that it wasn't as if they knew it was going to be a two-stop race. They thought it was going to be a one-stopper.
Yeah.
And the teams had to adapt during the race, which I found the most interesting, because they had the blistering and then like, well, what do we do? Do we stay out? Do we? And I kind of like the fact that they had to think on their toes, because it just makes for unpredictable races.
That's what amazed me, was that Hamilton, obviously, Mercedes dropped the ball with the whole virtual safety car thing. Hamilton dropped back, and you thought, right, Hamilton's on fresh tyres now, better tyres than everyone else. This is where he comes through the field, and actually he's the one that had to pit again.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
And he wasn't even that quick when he came back out the pits, because he was probably so worried about blistering again. We'll talk about blistering right now, in fact, with a few questions. We've got Linus08K11. Hamilton said the fans were robbed of a better Grand Prix because the tyres were bad. Do you agree with that statement, or was the Grand Prix so good because of those tyres?
Yes.
I mean, people saying that we were robbed of a better Grand Prix. What? I'm sorry, but what are you?
Well, he's only saying that because it would have been better had he been further up and not actually retired.
Yeah, exactly.
That was better in his eyes.
I don't know what he means by that. Obviously, he wasn't aware of what was going on around him, but surely degrading unpredictable tyres, though not great for him and Mercedes.
Yeah, for the spectators, it's great. When the teams don't know what they're doing, I think it's great. We saw that in Bahrain earlier, when no one really knew like if Vettel's strategy was going to pan out. Bottas was catching him. That was because the teams, again, came to that race, thought it was going to be a one-stop. It turned out to be a 2 or 3. Same thing here. Turned out to be a 2-stop instead. So when the teams are a bit like headless chickens, it's actually amazing for the fans. Not so much for the drivers. I can understand that, but bit of a weird statement for Lewis to come out like that, because I don't think even he could actually genuinely admit that if he got asked that again.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis's actual quote, sorry to interrupt, was they should have brought the other tyre here, the same tyres we had in the last race. I had the pace to put on a race, and then the tyres don't make it. In that circumstance, that's robbed the fans of seeing more racing.
The fact that he had degrading tyres, isn't the fact that he had degrading tyres meant that Vettel could overtake him, thus there being an actual race between two four-time world champions.
Yeah. Vettel's move, by the way, was
amazing.
Absolutely awesome.
He essentially did what Rosberg should have done.
Yeah, that's what I said in IBR.
He did is that what he said?
Yeah,
he pushed him to the point
it was
without just
squeeze.
Yeah.
Take. It was, honestly, I was like, wow. That was
on the grass a little bit as well.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It was perfect. And Vettel, well, we'll get onto the Kimi and Vettel thing maybe shortly. But any more on the tyres? I mean, F2 they struggled as well. I saw Lando Norris tweeted about how he really struggled in the second race, because in the first race he was very much being sort of babying the tyres, making sure they stayed and were intact. But then the second race he did the same thing and the tyres exploded, which I think then highlights in F1 how it was so difficult to predict, but which is what is amazing to watch. You have F1 teams making mistakes.
Did they know this because of, or did they not know this because of either lack of simulation, or did they not know this just because all of a sudden it got super hot?
Yeah.
Which is just.
And the most disappointing thing about the Hamilton statement for me is he was one of the ones that was so critical about Monaco being dull, and he was like, F1 needs to change, we need to do something. Finally, we get this race where there's a bit of unpredictability, and now he's the one saying like, oh yeah, we need to change it again. It's like,
well, pretty much every single time I feel like he says that something needs to change. And I think that's like Hamilton's new catchphrase.
Yeah. It's difficult for a driver to remain unbiased about what needs to change in the sport.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're always going to try and get a dig into something that will help them.
And let's be honest, Hamilton's not the best gauge for things. He says they have the best fans at every track, so he's going to say something needs to change every single race if it's not perfect for him.
It's like Alonso. It's like Alonso saying about the whole predictability thing. And then racing in WEC.
Speaking of WEC, what would you change, Ali? What would you change in F1 to make it a better spectacle?
6-hour races.
That would be awesome. No, it would actually two things. First thing, slightly WEC. It'd be quite cool to have different classes. I think it'd be cool to have different classes.
You pretty much have different classes already.
But then you could have like your leading championship where you've got the 107% or something like that. So if you had that 107% rule, but only for the top 6 or 8 drivers, and then you had a second class which was like 110 or 120, 15% or whatever, where it's a second class where
F2.
Basically, yeah. But if you were able to have them on track at the same time, I think that would be awesome.
That would be chaos.
Exactly.
Chaos.
Yeah. Exactly. But it would be like crazy if people want overtaking. That would provide overtaking.
Can you imagine the Vettel and
It'd be
Hamilton?
lapping, though, wouldn't it?
Can you imagine the Vettel and Hamilton overtake? just up ahead of the Markelov overtake. That would be insane.
Markelov, I'm sorry, but we do need to. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it was a great.
For people that haven't seen that Markelov overtake, go and watch it. It was stunning. I've watched it about 20 times. Have you seen it, Ali?
No, what happened?
Oh my God, Ali, you are missing out. And you like Wecken loads of cars into one corner.
Oh wait, the 4 cars.
Yes.
Yeah. Incredible.
Insane.
Up on the inside, on the grass a little bit, and then oh my God.
I remember watching the onboard, and I was like, oh my God, he's keeping his foot in, and they're going 4 wide into turn 3. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Absolutely stunning. Right, let's move on to Verstappen. He won.
He did.
Surprisingly, didn't he? Sesbeno21_official. We were having a chat about this. Good to know he's official.
Oh, yeah.
Not just
I hate
the
his
Sesbeno
fake page.
21. Yeah, no, he's the real one. Max finally won, and Lewis Morel 28. About time, Max, which I don't particularly agree with. About time, like he's in a Red Bull. Like it's not like
he's trying.
I mean, unless he means about time in terms of just performing, then fair enough. At Crazy Ninja 6969, what do you make of the lap 1 incident between Kimi and Max?
Quality move.
Of course you'd say that.
Was that where they touch wheels slightly?
I mean, Kimi he was so erratic at that start.
So bad.
I'm rubbish at turn names for Austria because they have turns that aren't actually
turn
turns.
2's the kink, turn 3, then turn 4. Yeah.
So the first he ran wide, then he ran wide again, cut back on track. Bottas got him around the outside. Then he messed up going into that double left-hander, and that's what made Max go for the move. He was alongside. And it's not an overtaking point, but he'd already seen Kimi had run wide. He put his car there, and he's going to keep his foot in because it's Max.
Yeah, and it's racing at the end of the I can understand people's sort of arguments. Was it fair? You kind of unsettled Kimi's car, but when you don't allow any contact whatsoever, like where do you draw the line? It's very much a grey area.
I mean, it's also lap 1. Like I feel like in F1, lap 1's a little bit.
Well, Charlie said going into this race that lap 1 is. They're going to treat it differently.
That's what we were talking about last weekend anyway, with the massive crash that happened last weekend.
Yeah, Bottas and Vettel.
I think if he'd gone for an absolutely bonkers lunge when Kimi had taken the normal line, but the fact that Kimi ran wide, it was like, I'm having you now.
Yeah, he saw the slight twitch on the rear, and he was straight up the inside. And good move, Aarav?
Yeah, very good move, I think. I mean, obviously, the little touch, but I think props to Kimi to hold that car, because that could have been worse for him. But I think it's fair play. Lap 1, maybe it was like later on the race, 2/3 into the race, maybe a little bit more debatable, but lap 1, it changes the entire thing completely.
How did Max go that long with that pace on the tyres?
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Impressive.
Really mature drive. I think Horner was talking about him lifting off in certain corners and then gaining time elsewhere. And I think it was the left-hand side tyres usually wear more around Austria, but I think Horner remarked that the left-hand side was better than the right-hand side. So that's just how good of a job Max did that weekend. So like full props to him for controlling that.
Because I think Ricciardo, he pit an extra time, right?
Yeah.
Before his retirement, So I think he clearly did amazingly well to do it. And it's weird after the start he had to the season for people to be talking about what a mature drive from him after the start that he had. And you think if he'd have had a good start, he could be right up there with, not quite maybe Vettel and Hamilton, but if you look at his points haul now, and I think he's done the best in the last 3 races, I think. He's the only one that got 3 podiums, so could be a turning point, you never know.
You're hoping.
Please, Max.
What about you, Ali? What do you think of Max's drive from the 10 laps that you watched of him not being in the lead?
He was great. He was great. That should have been my 3-word race through. He was great.
He was great. Just everyone in the field was
great.
Including Charles. I'm not going to get onto Charles just yet. Last time Mercedes actually had a double DNF was the exact same podium as what we saw in Austria.
Yeah, crazy.
So much Illuminati going on.
Exactly.
So many conspiracies. Max always seems to be the one that's there.
And it was Kimi chasing down Verstappen at the end of that race as well.
Yep.
Max on worn tyres, Kimi charging him down.
Because Kimi hadn't pit either, had he?
No, but he clearly had the pace because he set the
Ferraris did
set the lap record on the final lap.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. When everyone else is having blistering tyres.
Yeah.
That's
Here we
incredible.
go. Here comes Ali. Kimi's great.
I mean, Kimi is great.
Great or badly timed?
Kimi does that a
He had
lot.
too much
you could argue
tyre.
that
He did that a lot in 2017, just setting fast slaps at the end when it didn't really matter.
Which brings us greatly on to Kimi's race at Mittal Rag. What possible reason could be there behind Ferrari? What possible reason could there be behind Ferrari not switching Kimi and Vettel's place in the end? That was written wrong.
English is good.
It's like you're being
English is
surprised by every single word.
Well, no, but I was like, could be there. No, could there be? That was written wrong. Could there be for not switching Kimi and Vettel at the end? I'm very happy to see it stay the way it was, because it would have just tainted the race slightly, especially if they'd done it on the last lap.
I feel like Ferrari can't go back to how it was with Schumacher and Barrichello.
Well, because they actually got booed, didn't they, at the exact same race when Barrichello let Schumi through.
The fact
Just
that
on
if
the
they'd
last-
have done
last
it, it
couple
would have
seconds.
been the same track that happened on the last lap.
Do you think that's the reason why they did that, though? Like, what, they wouldn't do it because of the history, or
No.
they don't care about being booed. They just want to win.
They probably didn't want the backlash for it in terms of the title that they wanted. I think if they'd have done it, all the media pressure would have been on Ferrari switching, not why did the Mercedes break down. And I think the fact that they didn't do it, it's kept all the heat on Mercedes. People going, oh, Mercedes have dropped the ball here. They messed up on strategy. They've retired. Ferrari didn't need that heat on them, because they just picked up the points to get back in the lead of the
Do you feel like they were
championship.
happy because they were with where Vettel finished? He is now, yes, 1 point, but still in the lead. Had Vettel not had as many points going into this race, and him finishing second would have pushed him into the lead, do you think they would have swapped?
But I still think that it's
No.
Ferrari. Like, Ferrari are ruthless when it comes to strategy and team swapping, and they don't care. They don't really care what the public thinks. Like, if they're going to win, and if they miss out on this championship by less than 3 points, they're going to rue not doing it. But at the same time, it's at that stage of the season where Kimi needs this. Probably he needs these.
Yeah, he
results.
needs it that weekend. I think also Ferrari just thought maybe like we're going to lead both championships in these positions. Let's just take it. Let's not get any heat on us. I mean, it's been a hectic first 9 races, 3 different teams winning it. So it's kind of a case of let's just take this, keep it calm, and just go on. There's no need for controversy right now.
Now
Maybe at the end when they
If it gets
break
closer
Kimi's car, so
battle.
Vettel can win.
just press
4
the off
races
switch.
to go. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Kimi, I need to pit now. Sorry, Kimi, we're just sorting out Vettel's strategy. Can you
Yeah.
radios
Kimi,
later?
you've got a puncture on the last lap. No, I don't see anything. No. Come in
Gotta pit.
now. Shout out to another Ferrari-powered car, Haas.
Haas?
Not
Good old
Haas.
Haas.
How do you say it? Haas or Haas?
I say Haas.
Apparently it's Haas.
Actually,
Yep. American
can't-
person
yeah.
in this office confirmed.
Said it's Haas.
Haas. Okay.
It's Haas.
Well,
and I got
I've been
taken the
wrong
mick
for
out
3
of.
years then,
Yeah,
so-
yeah. I was right. Then I was wrong. Then I was right. Anyway,
Peer pressure.
at Armgen 7, well deserved. Haas. Good timing, huh? Great.
Just put a counter in
It
the
just makes more
Just
sense
put a
to say
counter in the
Haas.
corner of the video. How many times you get it wrong?
Because there's 2 A's. Like, it's not Haas. Anyway, Grosjean back into P4.
Great.
Good lad.
Out of nowhere.
Good
Great
lad.
stuff.
Yeah.
Good lad.
Rinse
that
him on
was-
the last podcast. Starts performing.
Yeah, he clearly listens, watches.
Just like
I think he
Bottas.
watches and listens. I reckon he listens to each individual audio platform we have it on,
Yeah.
just to see if there's
Every
anything.
single time.
Just in
Yeah.
case there was a little bit more about him in one edit than. But he did amazingly. He drove really, really well. Like, his qualifying was outstanding. Like, he drove the absolute wheels off that car.
Outqualified
And
Ricardo.
not legitimately for the first time, literally. Even
Outqualified Ricardo as well, which is pretty impressive.
I think Ricardo was just not on it
Yeah.
this weekend, though, was he? Really? But I mean, he was only like what, 6/10 off pole?
Yeah.
You watched qualifying highlights only just earlier, so what was
Well-
the exact gap, please, Tommy?
I can't remember. I didn't see the gaps. But I noticed you retweeted, I think it was Chandok that said the Red Bulls were losing 7/10.
Yeah.
On
the straight.
On the straight, which
Really?
shows in
Ridiculous.
qualifying, it's ridiculous. And in qualifying trim, that's bad.
Very bad.
Yeah.
Which is why Haas had the chance to leapfrog them.
And if that is true, which I'm taking it with a pinch of salt, that it's 7/10 that they're losing on a straight. If, for example, they're trying to make up more time in the corners, that means it would have been in the 102s in qualifying, which is scary to think how good that Red
Yeah.
Bull is. But we've seen it in the past. Adrian Newey has created some absolute monsters, right?
Yeah. I think, yeah.
I mean, this year's car seems pretty incredible anyway,
It
with
is.
how they're doing compared to how they were doing last year.
I mean, if you look at Monaco,
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
one where the engine is the least important, and arguably Ricciardo didn't even have
An
a
engine.
working power unit during the race, and he still won. So
Yeah, I think it shows over the years Red Bull quite really impressive actually over the 8 years since they started winning that their chassis is probably still the best out of everyone. Like on a base level,
Not McLaren.
Monaco.
No.
I mean,
You're a McLaren fan as well.
I'm not a McLaren fan.
Oh,
I'm
you're
a
not?
Jenson Button fan.
Oh yeah, Jensen.
That's fair enough.
So he jumped ship at the right time.
Ali's a McLaren fan.
Yeah.
He jumped ship at the right time because
Did he?
I've had some sympathy for McLaren in the past, but
Not anymore.
no,
Not since he left.
No, I still had sympathy for them for maybe a year or so after. I was like, oh, let's get behind Alonso, and now it's. I don't have any words for how that race
It's a
went for them.
sinking ship, isn't it? It really.
yeah,
Do you think McLaren would ever leave the sport?
no, surely not.
No, I don't think so. They've got so much money, they don't care. They're just there.
You're like, no,
Please no.
Please no.
don't,
Please get better.
There was loads of stuff going on in that midfield though
The
during the
midfield
race,
battle
wasn't
was
it?
Yeah.
incredible.
There was it was carnage.
There was so much going on that actually we were chatting about it that you were kind of like, oh, how did this happen? How did this happen? Like Ocon and Perez getting 6th and 7th, and you
They came out of nowhere.
barely
I felt
even
like
noticed because
Yeah,
there
I
was so
didn't
much
notice.
happening.
I think I saw a Force India on the TV feed once.
No.
I don't
I don't think so.
under the radar performance by them.
Where did they start?
Perez
Ocon was 10th, I
Perez
think.
Yeah.
And Perez was
way
a bit
down, I
further
think.
back, wasn't he?
Didn't he get knocked out in Q1?
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Perez
so
did,
he
yeah.
was-
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I think he started I think maybe it's probably a few penalties, but it was around 16, 17.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, wow,
Perez was.
okay.
But that just shows how much carnage was going on. Like Perez
Yeah.
was out of position. Charles
Charles.
was off the track in lap 1, which you would have seen.
I
Ali.
saw that.
Yeah. I remember looking in the background being like, where on earth is that Sauber going?
Yeah.
And yet he got back into the points.
Looking like that must be Ericsson.
Genuinely, I was waiting for that's
Totally.
Marcus. But it wasn't. It was actually Charles. And then he still managed to beat his teammate, although there was...
I think there was some team orders.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah,
'cause,
I feel like it was...
Ericsson
Marcus-
was on faster tyres, so they asked Charles to let him through.
Charles.
and he
not
didn't.
Charles. Charles Leclerc. Okay.
But you got
Give
Haas
us
wrong.
Charles
so
Leclerc.
Charles
Charles.
Leclerc. Right, so he let him through. Ericsson couldn't do the job, so fair play, let him back through.
Yeah, you said about McLaren, but a lot of people thought... saw a lot of people saying that Alonso's driver of the day because they were last, weren't they?
They were
at the
last.
start?
He was
Yeah,
with
it
Leclerc.
was,
Leclerc
it was
to
fair
get
enough. Like Alonso's drive was great.
No, he was with Leclerc at the beginning of the race. He was battling with Leclerc.
Oh,
and Leclerc beat him.
I'm not saying Alonso's
No, he
driver
didn't.
of the day.
Leclerc didn't beat him. Leclerc didn't beat him, did he? Where did Alonso finish? 8th.
No, 8th, yeah.
Hey,
Damn it.
Yeah.
My point is invalid. Alonso, driver of the day.
I think it was driver of the day. It was an impressive drive, but how many times can you say, "Oh, great drive, Alonso"? But still, the end result is 8, 7.
It's probably the greatest drive of his career around Austria.
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
What did you think of that whole debacle about him saying that his Le Mans victory was the greatest victory? Of
I
his
don't, I don't watch a lot of WEC, but even I could know that
do
wasn't
you
the
not watch
year.
WEC?
That wasn't the year to say that.
Yeah,
because
no.
it was total dominance by Dakota.
Even you
So,
say that, right?
He almost just
Yeah.
embraces the meme of it all now.
I think
swear.
so.
Yeah, it was. He couldn't have said
I think
that.
he's got to. He's
Yeah.
got to embrace it.
It
He's
was,
trying to stay in the spotlight.
It was stupid for him to say that. It was.
Stupid for a WEC driver. That's harsh.
Scathing.
So you got the predictions right last week, Ali. Which
Well, I guessed that Red Bull would win,
Rather
but then my
upsetting.
second and third place was to both Mercedes, and they didn't do well.
what do you reckon your predictions are for next week?
Oh God.
Yes,
Where are we
got
going? Silverstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Sorry,
back on the
totally forgot.
tyres, aren't they? This week, the
thin ones.
the special
Yeah.
Special tyres?
special tyres
Special
that they
one.
had for
For Spain
Barcelona
and-
and Paul Ricard that
Oh, okay.
Mercedes walked it in both races.
Oh, right.
Those
Wow.
ones.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
So what does
Here's a clue, Ali.
Cough,
Okay,
cough.
right.
Cough, cough.
So that means that Mercedes will probably be pretty good for the British
mean,
GP then.
Yeah, you'd think so.
They're
Even
normally
without the
quite
tyres,
good
they
around
look
there
good,
anyway,
yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah, that car's been really solid. I mean, I don't know if it's just Hamilton being great around there, but Burke seemed to be always really good around there. So, Hamilton around quali, crowd cheering on. I'm sure we'll give him a couple of tenths. So,
Probably get pole again. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it might jinx it right now, but I expect him to walk it.
But with the track, I guess it's going to be pretty hot the weekend of racing. It's going to be about 28, 29 degrees.
Blistering.
Is that going to hopefully bring some blistering and some
I hope so.
Let's hope.
tyre
Let's hope so.
explosions?
Yeah.
Let's hope.
I hope that they,
Tire explosion.
Please.
No, that's
Oh, God, maybe that's a bit too hot.
maybe
Maybe too far.
yeah, not like 2013.
I think with the tire blistering, they could help that with or possibly less simulations, so that the teams don't know in terms
Ali's
of
point of
temperatures
the week.
as much with the track to try and play with the tyres, or if that's on Pirelli's side. I don't know.
So you're saying to test the tyres more in real life?
No, less.
Less in real life and more in simulation?
Or less altogether.
Less altogether.
Less
He just wants to
altogether.
put a blindfold over
so-
on.
right.
So
And
you want more
therefore-
tyre explosions and
More
thought you meant-
blistering, more
oh.
tyre explode. Therefore, like,
Yeah.
or like all of a
To be
sudden
fair,
they
yeah.
put tyres on and they go out for 5 laps. Like, crap, our tyres are shot right now. We picked the wrong
basically
tyres.
2012.
Okay, so are you saying less testing on Pirelli's side? Because I'd agree if you were saying that the teams can't test it as much, so the teams don't know if they're going to blister it. But if Pirelli aren't testing them, health and
I think
safety is
Pirelli
going
Okay,
to
so
go
yeah,
through.
yeah,
Pirelli should
know.
probably test, and then they just go, "These are the tyres
So
you've
less
got."
free
Yeah,
practice.
don't tell
basically.
them.
Yeah.
Like Pirelli, I feel like Pirelli always like have a recommended, like, oh, we think the teams will do this.
Yeah.
And a lot of the teams become stubborn almost about, right, it is going to be a 1-stop. So they like Monaco, that like that could have been a 2-stop, but they're all so stubborn at staying out there on the 1-stop. So like the headless chicken thing, exactly. Like less knowledge for the teams means better race for us.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like a wet free practice for Friday,
totally.
and then they know it's going to be dry for the race. Like they lose so much time that they don't really know what they're going to have
They
to
need
run
to
in the
bin off
race.
practice.
Bin off.
genuinely think that.
I'd love to see Grand Prix weekends
Not
without
even,
practice, but
not even just one less practice session or two, like at least
Just
a
bin it up.
practice.
No,
or they do practice sessions with the different tyre compound to the one they're going to be racing on. Hey, so then they can do all the mechanical stuff.
Intermediates.
Because
Because we never see those tyres anymore. Just because.
RIP intermediates.
I think do like 30 minutes practice just before quali. Just before quali.
Yeah, like a sprint
Yeah,
type.
so like they can do their mechanical like checks to see like the car. Okay, we actually have a car this weekend that runs, and then check like one little setup change, and then that's about it.
Yeah.
I think the more it's gone on with this, the more I've seen the fact that people are actually saying a genuine thing about saying that they should change practice, like get rid of it.
Driver of the day. Driver of the day. Austria GP. Tommy.
Max Verstappen.
Oh, Borefest.
Well, it was though, wasn't it? Really?
It was. But
Yeah.
go on. Why?
Because he won the race. He managed his tyres really well.
Just should have stopped it there. Because he
Is
won.
this Tommy or Kimi?
He won the race. He managed his tyres really well. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, fair
Did
play.
everything he needed to do.
Yeah, I agree with Tommy.
Ali,
Max
no.
Verstappen.
You do a different one. 10 laps.
It was the
Yeah,
star.
10
He was
laps.
the
In the
star
10
of
in
the
the 10
first
laps.
Because Max hadn't won at that point. He wasn't even
Okay.
leading.
In those 10.
Bottas.
In the star of the 10 laps, it probably, well, no, because then he DNF'd. I saw him DNF.
No, but you only saw 10 laps.
Yeah, but I saw him DNF.
How?
So up until what? Shut
How
up.
did you-
Up until that point, up until when he DNF'd was when I left the house, and so I saw him.
God,
He
he's
would
a wet
drive
fan.
great, but he's not driver of the day if he's up until that point. So
Thanks for answering.
it's probably still Max.
filling
It's
time.
probably still Max after that move on Kimi
Wow,
on that
wow.
one.
Jeez, well, that was a long-winded
Yeah.
answer for Max, wasn't it? Like,
I'm just trying to eke
also,
out the time.
watches F1 for 10 laps, but can watch WEC for 24 hours. Like,
Yeah,
come
but
on.
I haven't got to drive to an office to film Internet's Best Reactions.
I did wonder that earlier when we were saying I've watched the first 10 laps, and then Ali was like, "What could improve Formula One? Let's 6 hours."
6-hour races.
Yeah.
Aarav.
You're going to hate me, but it's Max Verstappen.
Wait, I'm not a Max Verstappen hater. I'm just a Tommy hater. That's all I am.
Oh, okay.
But he's
Thanks
and
for
a me
that
hater.
clear difference.
Yeah.
Okay,
WEC. I
fine.
hate WEC. I love you.
Well, I hate you.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Frosty.
Ouch.
And Charles.
My driver of the day.
After lap 1 incident, it probably is Charles. Yeah.
Yeah, Charles up there. Charles in the top 3.
Alonso's up there.
Alonso,
Yeah.
he's got a better car than Charles. Grosjean. I'm going to go with Grosjean. I'm not doing a Max full house.
Really?
I can't do it.
But Grosjean did well in quali. Like he only really
It's
did.
part of the race weekend. Driver of the day. Oh, no, that's one day.
Driver of the days.
I don't know what I expected to say when I came up with that. It's not driver.
Wow. It's not driver of the day. It's driver of the.
He started on the second row and he finished on the.
He didn't. He
second.
started on the 3rd row.
No, after Vettel had his penalty, I thought he
He
bumped
started
up.
5th.
Yeah.
No.
Started 5th.
All right, he moved up 1 place. Well done.
Loving the
The
sassy
most
alley going on.
unimpressed
You
tone
attack
ever.
WEC, you just turned to the sass machine.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. Okay, fair enough. Nope, still Grosjean. What about predictions for next week? Silverstone. Oh my God, Silverstone. We're at the British Grand Prix already. How are we already here?
Exciting.
I'm going to go with my predictions right now.
Go for it.
First is Hamilton. I actually want to see Hamilton win at the British Grand Prix. It's just buzzing whenever he
The
does.
atmosphere is incredible when he
The
wins.
atmosphere is awesome. So I think Hamilton will win. I think it'll be a Mercedes lockout, Bottas second. And it's going to be a Ferrari. It's just boring. I don't think Red Bull are going to be there. So I'm going to go with Vettel. Wow, that's a really boring predictions. But I feel like every time we've been boring, it's never been boring.
Yeah,
True.
but also Silverstone, apart from when all the tyres blew up, is kind of always to what I see,
Counter-track.
always see the same, and it's just that it always is that Ferrari and Mercedes up the front and whatever else.
I hope Ferrari can bring the battle to Mercedes, but I feel like Mercedes, with it being quite a high fuel consumption track, Silverstone, you know that?
And they've got their
Top
favorite.
five?
They've got their favorite tires back as well. So
The Mercedes tyres.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah.
course, yeah. So yeah, Mercedes definitely won too.
the better tread that
Aarav.
Hamilton likes.
Better tread.
You're an aerodynamicist. You're not, but you like to do your analysis on
Yeah.
your YouTube, don't you? You
We're graduate. That's
go
about
on,
it.
yeah, you're a graduate
So,
for what exactly? What was it?
aerospace engineering.
Jeez, even that's just blown my mind.
That's knowledge.
You should see his videos. Honestly, they're like goes into like detail of like wings and stuff, and I'm like, whoa.
Wow, wings.
So with your knowledge, Aarav, who are you going to put as your top three?
Well, it doesn't really use any of that knowledge, to be honest. It's just going to be the fact that it's the British Grand Prix.
No, you should.
So
Use your
I think
knowledge.
Hamilton will just whoop the field. I think he will walk
Whip
it.
the field.
I think he will walk it
Whoop.
because I think that Merc car is going to be really good around there. Those tyres as well, and the fact that obviously Lewis just gains like those extra 2-3 tenths when the crowd starts cheering on. Second place, I want to say Sebastian Vettel just for the sake of the championship.
Yeah.
But I think Bottas is going to be so pissed off by what happened at Austria that he's going to show up and hopefully give Hamilton a run for his money, maybe in second place. And then I would hope that Vettel can pick up the pieces in third place. But don't know, maybe Kimi might get an upset Ferrari again.
And have another podium without a win.
Maybe,
Ali,
yeah.
I've not been listening to a word either of you've been saying. I'm trying to work out in my mind.
whether or not pissed off is a swear word and you need to...
No. Maybe. Who's going to be on my top three? Because I thought I could go for a crazy prediction like I did last time. And
it
look
worked
what
out
happens.
for you, to
yeah.
be fair.
People
Well,
commented saying I was high, but actually...
you were high
I
and
were,
you got
yeah,
it right.
probably. So predictions. I'm going to say Hamilton first. Annoyingly.
Wow, crazy prediction.
Yeah. Verstappen second.
Oh, here we go.
And Raikkonen third. I think that Vettel and Bottas will hit each other and knock each other out of the race.
Again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my wow.
I think everyone will at the start of the race want to be so excited just to try and get out front. I think Vettel will want to try and stay in the top points of the championship. Bottas will want to prove himself from this past weekend, wanting to actually get points and not DNF. And I think going into turn 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever.
do you think there'll be any stuff with
Your predictions are like, right, lap 1, this is going to happen. Lap 22, I feel like Hartley's going to get a puncture on lap 22.
I didn't even speak about Brendan Hartley. That upsets me so much.
Give me a full race rundown.
Yeah.
But do you reckon there'll be anything with they're allowing DRS through turn 1 now?
They are.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
crazy.
Oh, that's going to be lit.
So,
Red Bull, hello.
The
Wow.
Red Bull will be
Yeah.
planted and
Yeah.
really use that. But do you reckon there'll be any like crash or incident with that, like maybe midfield driver?
Well, I feel like
if-
it would be
Grosjean.
interesting to see if there's like they're going side by side into turn 1. Like if one of them leaves DRS open,
like
and
if
the
you
other
had to
one closes
predict
it. Like,
one driver that's gonna get it wrong at some point.
Grosjean.
absolutely Hartley.
Grosjean.
Absolutely
I'm gonna say
Hartley.
K-Mag. I'm gonna say K-Mag.
K-Mag.
Yeah.
Okay, please not, because he's in my fantasy team. Tommy.
Prediction.
Can we have a
Okay,
whole race prediction like mine,
yeah.
please? Yeah.
Oh, also, actually, before that podcast, you're going to actually have watched the whole race.
I am. Yeah, I'm going there.
Is that the only way
Wow.
to get you to watch a whole race?
We literally
Yeah,
just
normally
drag
it
him
is,
to
yeah.
a race.
Drag him to
Yeah.
the
Don't
Grand
have to
Prix.
sit in
drive.
the
Drag him
ground.
to-
Even
Haven't-
then, he's
haven't
going to
got
watch
drive.
the first 10 laps, then exit the grandstand and go somewhere else.
Yes.
Well, you say that, but last year I went to the Silverstone Grand Prix and I watched
British
probably
Grand
British Grand Prix, and I watched probably about 10 laps. and then I went off to
sorry.
the toilet and to get food because I thought it was going to be quiet at that point.
Ali has long
but it
toilet breaks
wasn't.
as well.
And so I watched. I pretty much missed the whole race waiting for a pizza to be cooked last year at the.
And this
British
is where
Grand
this is
Prix.
Ali's priority is
Wow.
pizza is over Formula 1, which is fair enough.
It's
I've seen the
whack
lunches you have.
pizza F1.
Yeah,
Pretty much,
genuinely.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Tommy,
Anyway, sorry.
Right. Bottas to win. Verstappen
you sound like you're on a
second.
game show.
Verstappen
Bottas.
second and Vettel third.
What's happened
No
to Hamilton?
Hamilton.
I think he might have another DNF in the
Ooh.
heat.
Whoa, Tommy, we're going to
Mind
be there,
blown.
but we're not Hamilton fans. We're not really, but I would like to see him win the British Grand Prix.
It's just because it's a great
As
atmosphere.
long as
though.
the,
Yeah,
as long
I'm
as
all
the
for the
title's
atmosphere.
close.
Yeah. Like afterwards, when everyone rushes, all the British fans just rush onto the track afterwards. Hamilton comes out to see everyone.
Woo, crowd
Everyone's just
surfing,
so
yeah.
excited. And also when he's in the lead, of course, you can hear him. You can hear he's coming before he actually comes around because the crowd are cheering constantly, just like a Mexican wave around the track of.
Well, technically, you can hear the car before you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I know what you mean.
but
You know who
it's
it is.
him.
Yeah,
You know it's
yeah,
him
yeah.
coming around because of the cheering.
Yeah.
Well,
Hamilton, if he wins the British round and then Vettel German round.
That'd
would
be
be
pretty
nice.
decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that will be a nice little
Yes.
tale.
Although the Germans they aren't amazingly warm
It's not
to
quite
Vettel, are they?
Schumacher levels of
No.
extreme. Oh god,
Very
I've got
weird.
Matt onto Schumacher now.
I don't think
I'm
the
just
Germans will
tilted.
ever be behind someone as much as they were behind Schumacher, though, probably.
They never
No,
will
Schumi
be.
is
Never.
God. Schumi is the one. Okay, don't say
More Vettel-
anything.
more
Well,
Vettel-
I'm keeping my
Rosberg,
mouth shut.
Yeah.
there you have it. This has been the. Wait, I'm outroing to that one, aren't I? Hey, this has been
Editing.
the Austrian Grand Prix podcast, episode 9. Aarav, thank you so much for coming along.
Yeah, it's been good to be
on
on.
this podcast to chat some absolute breeze, fam.
Why?
I don't know why I said that.
Wow.
Why?
Please edit me.
No. I'm keeping that
Leave
in
this
so you
in
can
raw
get
edition.
destroyed in the comments.
The raw edition.
If people get this far, please don't. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Well done.
Breeze, fam.
Eventful. Breeze. Why breeze?
An
fan?
eventful 10 laps.
Eventful 10 laps.
That should have been my.
10 laps only.
That should have been my my.
An eventful 10
Yeah,
laps.
an
Yeah, it's 4
eventful
words,
10
so it is
eventful
It's 4
10
words.
laps.
You've done a Love Island when they can't do the 3-word thing. When they ask 3
Ali's
words to
that.
describe yourself.
That's
Yeah, I
Ali
watch
every
Love
podcast
Island.
anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Love
France.
Island.
I know he watches it.
Yeah, I watch it as well.
I watch Love Island as much as I watch F1.